This is Aqua Family. Mjambo familia, karibuni kwenye show yetu ya leo. This is a Blackout Fan Network 54 Correspondence show. We get to discuss different issues that are taking place on the African continent. We get to give you news and updates regarding different matters, whether it be social, economic, political matters, environmental matters, and everything else in between. We hope that through this particular show, we can be able to also shape your perception or shape your view of the continent of Africa, and also give you a better understanding of what happens in Africa, the potential in Africa, and also, other aspects about the African continent that you might find enlightening. Maybe you did not know about a little bit earlier. We hope also to engage with you in terms of making solutions to some of the pertinent challenges facing the continent of Africa. So you might as well consider this to be a think tank in some way, an African think tank in some way. And being another wonderful day, the Tuesday, the 17th of August, the year 2021. I hope that your month is coming along just fine. Halfway, in between the month or at the middle of the month, sometimes people start to get disillusioned, wondering, is it going to be over? Is this how are we going to get through the month? Or how is it? How is the other month going to turn up if this particular one has been like this? There are so many questions that people get to ask themselves when they're halfway in between the month. And this is such a particular time on the 17th where you really just trying to figure out how this particular month is going. It might be going too fast for you. It might be going too slow for you. But regardless, I want really to ask you to take or to attack the month with optimism. And of course, be positive about everything. Also, have an optimistic kind of a mindset, because what you manifest eventually gets to happen. And I am hoping that you are also keeping on that particular positive kind of a mindset. My name is Pikes, in case you're joining us for the very first time. And like I said on the 54 Correspondence show, we aspire to be as objective as possible when you're talking about different matters on the continent of Africa. On previous platforms, perhaps that you might have engaged on, you might have found a little bit of a bias, or not even a little bit, a lot of a bias when it comes to the kind of a reporting that is done about Africa. But on the 54 Correspondence show, we hope to set the record straight regarding some of these particular matters. Africa has been painted differently especially with the propaganda that is our mainstream media. If you go to news, if you go to magazines, if you go to films, you will find the depiction of Africa that is really not factual. It also sort of attends towards fiction, a lot of fiction, but on the Fit for Correspondence show, we aspire to be factual in our reporting about Africa and African matters. Samuel, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. I hope that you are doing well and that everything is well for you and your family in Clarendon, Jamaica. How are things going? How is the weather? I understand that right now in the Caribbean, people are still just looking, and some of them might be a little bit worried. Not in Jamaica, but in Haiti, because of the recent natural calamity that did happen. And also, I understand there might also be a human hand to it, but there has been the loss of lives of about 1,292 people. That was the last number I checked on the news website. And I was saying that lots of families have been left devastated in Haiti, but I do hope that they get some assistance or some help. I know the government in Haiti is really not, when it comes to resources, you cannot talk about the government of Haiti really being endowed with resources right now. And also with the killing of the president a month ago, was it a month ago? I believe almost a month ago. The killing of the president Moise at his house also makes things a little bit even difficult, politically speaking, and also, speaking in terms of leadership. But I do hope that the people of Haiti will still find some assistance. And also, I do believe the rest of the other people of Haiti will still stand side by side with the rest of the brothers and the sisters that have been affected by this earthquake that did strike over the weekend in Haiti. I believe it had a magnitude of about 7.2, which is really crazy. In Africa, I have not had places in Africa where we do have earthquakes that are as devastating. Actually, myself, from where I'm from, even in Kenya, I have not had the matter of earthquakes. I'm particularly a bit curious. I have not really gotten to enlighten myself about the construction, or not only the construction, about the formation. It was not really constructed, about the formation of the Great Rift Valley in Kenya, because I understand there was a lot of also seismic movement when there was when there was a creation of the Rift Valley. So perhaps maybe millions of years ago, maybe perhaps you also did have a certain kind of a seismic activity and seismic waves also shocking at this area in East Africa. Because if you do look at the map of East Africa, you will see the Great Rift Valley passing through a couple of countries. In fact, let me share with you the Great Rift Valley. Let me just share these real quick. I don't know how many of us know about the geography of East Africa, but you will find one of the biggest landmarks in East Africa is the Great Rift Valley. And I also do suspect that perhaps at some point there was a lot of activity happening underneath, which also perhaps did result to the making of these Great Rift Valley. You can see it passes through a couple of countries, all the way from I believe this is in Malawi, comes up all the way through Kenya. It also goes into Tanzania. If you look at this particular image on the map right there, and I believe it also goes a little bit further into Ethiopia and also crosses. Let me see where it also crosses. It also crosses, I believe, into the Middle East, what we do call a Middle East. Of course, that was also part of that, of course, was also part of the continent, the part of Africa, as you might call it. But you do have it here. You do have the Somali plate. It gets it comes all the way from down here, goes all the way like this. But if you ever get the opportunity to visit Kenya, or you ever get the opportunity to visit maybe also Somalia, or these are the East African countries of the Horn of Africa, the Great Rift Valley is one of the spectacles that you might like to see, and I see how it was formed. I understand it was formed millions of years ago. And I was saying in Africa there are not really such incidences of having the earthquake, and you do find that the earth being shaken, a lot of tremor at the magnitude of about 6 or even a 7, like we did have in Haiti. But I was saying that I hope that the people of Haiti also do stand with their brothers and sisters in these difficult times. Nonetheless, early on at the start of the show, I did play you some wonderful, wonderful music. And this is an instrumental that almost has a lot of percussions in it. If you listen to these if you listen to this instrumental or this beat very very carefully, I just wanted to highlight about the essence of the African music and the application or the use of different percussions instruments right here on the continent of Africa. Just take a listen at this, and then we shall just share with you some of the important percussion instruments that we do have on the African continent. I believe if you go to every other African community, you will find them having their own collection. You know, some are having their own collection of musical instruments, perhaps that might also be unique to them, or maybe perhaps also shared between that community and another community. I will be sharing with us a few of those particular percussion instruments, and you will see how they have contributed to the making of African music, not just in Kenya, not just in Nigeria, but all across the beautiful African continent. You can listen to a little bit of this. That is some music that would really also get to uplift you, or just uplift your vibration, regardless of what you are actually doing. But nonetheless, I was saying we do have a various instruments that have been used as a percussion instrument right here on the continent of Africa. Some of them really do stand out. Some of them, of course, should also be considered as items of national and cultural heritage. But some of them, of course, are in this age are also being phased out. Let me share with you a few of these so that you can see their contribution to the African music as we know it right now. We do have one of them, which is known as the djembe drum. We do have the djembe, and let me share it with us real quick right here. You will see these are different or certain types of drums. These are different types of drums. For example, we do have the tabla. We also do have the dumbek. We do have the damaru, and we also do have the bongos. And all of them, of course, were not really played by the same communities. Most of these you will find them are being used by various communities. Maybe you will find one community in West Africa using the djembe, another community in East Africa also using a different kind of the drums were really made uniquely. And I think even if you were to find people along the way carrying their music instruments, maybe about 100 years ago, or maybe about 150 years ago, when people are moving around the continent and they are carrying their musical instruments, you might have been able to tell where are these people coming from, because most of these drums, the way they are designed and also the way they are played, it was a little bit different from one community into another community. And you will find a lot of African ingenuity in all these. Some of them you can still find them; they are for sale. You will find some of them being readily available for sale. Maybe perhaps at we call them the crafts market. You find them at the craft market. They are really not being used these days. If you ask me, you will not find anyone playing these kinds of drums anywhere, because it's like their use have been they have become obsolete because of the invention of the technology that now replaces the use of these kinds of drums. But we do have so many types of drums and other different percussion instruments that were used. For example, we do have the shakers. You can also see the shakers are on these images. We also do have the kora. The kora is also another percussion instrument. We do have the ekwe. The ekwe was also another percussion instrument. And like I said, these days everything has been digitized. So if you're going into a music studio and you're trying to make some drum, you will find you will not have the physical drum itself, but you will find that instrument are also put on the computer, and that is how it's used. We also do have the ekwe, the agogo. The agogo. We also do have the dumbek, the mbira. These are some of the oldest percussion instruments that were used right here on the continent of Africa. You might also find the types of the djembe drums. This is a djembe. It's a djembe drum, and the djembe drum, I do believe it's unique to. Is it West Africa? It might be unique to West Africa, because I understand in West Africa, South Africa, and also in East Africa, you will find some of these instruments are being widely spread. when people were interacting at different music festivals, there was also the sharing of the ideology of making these drums, or the design of these drums. For these, the Zambia one, I understand it also was made from West. It was made originally from West Africa, according to the Bambara people in Mali. The name of the Djembe comes from the saying Ankeze or Ankebe, which translates to everyone gathers together in peace. So music really was used as an instrument. Music was used as a tool to bring people together. For example, this djembe drum, like you did here from West Africa, they are saying that the names come from the phrase, which means to everyone to gather in peace, or to gather around in peace, and also to to just come together maybe in the evening, or whether when there is a festivity being enjoyed. That is when people used to come together and play these musical instruments. Sometimes it was played during weddings. Of course, there were traditional weddings. Sometimes it was played during different ritual ceremonies. And these ritual ceremonies, of course, might have been involved, invoking the spirits of the ancestors are using music, and getting also into the spiritual realm using these instruments, or using the music, and also some sort of a humming, some sort of a dances. All these things did come together: the music, the dances, and the instrument playing. All these things did come together in terms of bringing the people together, and also helping them maybe perhaps get past, get to communicate with the other different worlds in Africa. In West Africa, like I said, in East Africa, you'll also find the unique drums in East Africa, and other unique drums also in South Africa. That is, there is a spread. You will not run out of instruments to count when it comes to African music, especially those percussion instruments. Earlier, when I was telling us about the Rift Valley, and I was saying that the Rift Valley, of course, was also formed because of the seismic waves that were. It's some people do consider the Rift Valley as a crack in the planet, and it's very, very huge, traversing across different countries, and also ending up all the way in the Middle East. You can see, for example, with these. Let me just try and share this one. I was saying that one of the most spectacular things that you can see on the African continent. This is the Great Rift Valley. And you can also see right here on the KLM, if you were to take a KLM flight, it has been labeled as the wonder of the Great Rift Valley. And the formation, like I said, was formed so many millions of years ago, and that is why it still remains as a spectacle that people really do not even get to understand how it came really to be formed, or how the kind of energy that also was came up from this as well when it was being constructed. Nonetheless, I was sending these a for Correspondence show, and I remember you can check out our website, which is www.blackwatchfarnetwork.com. And once you are on the website, make sure you create your own profile on the network website, and also do let us know how your day is coming along. What do you aspire for this particular month? I would like to know. Like I was saying earlier, the only way is really to manifest. Yesterday, I saw someone put out on Twitter that they are tired of manifesting. What they want to do right now is stealing. I think there's some sense of hopelessness. I think that comes also around the middle of the month. Yesterday, I was seeing someone saying, I'm tired of manifesting. What I need to do now is steal. And I was saying that, through the month, make sure you continue manifesting, and things will eventually also shape up regardless of what you might be up to this particular month of August. The year is moving pretty fast. Just the other day, I was recounting of our experience in Rwanda, and I was saying that was about over 2 years ago, because we were in Rwanda in April 2019 as a Blackout Fire Network family, and time really moves fast, so you might as well also try moving with the times, because time never waits for no one. Nonetheless, I want to move a little bit further from the matter of Africa and the instruments, or the great spectacles. And before I do, I just remembered something. Another thing that really is a wonderful spectacle in Africa, if you are ever to tour, and you do have, of course, you are in Africa for the purposes of tourism, or you're just here to see the beauty of the scenic beauty of the African continent. Another thing that really is also breathtaking is also going to see the Zambezi Falls. The Zambezi Falls, and in Zimbabwe and Zambia. That would also be a wonderful. They're also known as the Victoria Falls. It's also known as the Victoria Falls. But if you ever here and you're purposing to go see the the wonder of creation, if I might call it so, the wonder of creation, you might as well see two things on the African continent. First and foremost, the great African Rift Valley. And also, number two, you might as well also go see the Zambezi Falls. The Zambezi Falls, some people also do call them the Victoria Falls, and these are in this is on in Zambia and Zimbabwe. And let me just show it real quick. This is what I am talking about. The falls right here, the water falling off these rapids, all of these falls. It's really something spectacular. I'm not sure whether they do generate energy. I hope they do. If they are not generating any kind of energy or hydroelectricity in this particular one, that would be a complete waste of these resources like this. I do see some people very close to this place. I will never be anyone. I will never be anywhere near here trying to play with the water. Because you do not know what might happen the next minute. The volume of the water might increase, and you will also find yourself, you might lose your life. But yes, this is also the Zambezi Falls, on the Victoria Falls on the Zambezi River in Africa. And this is also another spectacular place. If you ever want to tour Africa and you're looking for, experiences that are second to none, then these are some things that you would like to see. Like you see, it's with, you can see it from both sides. You can either see it from the side of Zambia, or you can also see it from the side of Zimbabwe. You will see Zambia and Zimbabwe, because our focus for today will be Zambia. Zambia and Zimbabwe were once, it's just one people. But then again, there was a division when there was the dividing of this land. It was known as Southern Rhodesia. And there was also Northern Rhodesia. Northern Rhodesia was Zambia, and Southern Rhodesia was Zimbabwe. But this is just one place. You can see even, they do share the same place. But now we do have Zambia and Zimbabwe being, different countries. You might find some people also, wanting to have some enmity between the Zambian and the Zimbabwean. But I also do see a bridge here, which is a big bridge also crossing from Zambia into Zimbabwe. Right after these Zambezi River flows, and it's shared between these two countries. This is where you do find the Victoria Falls. So those are two places that you might like to see if you ever decide that you want to tour the African continent and you're looking for views, spectacular and very second to none. The other thing that you might like to see is the wild beast migration. The wild beast migration is experienced in Kenya and Tanzania. It happens around August. I think it might be happening. Yes, it happens around September, between August and September, somewhere there, when you do have the migration of thousands of wild beasts crossing from one part of the Savo into the other part. And so they come from the Savo part on the Kenyan side, and then they go into Tanzania. And then a month later, they then return because they're looking for the better grazing fields. So those are three things that you might like to see. And like I said, it's really also second to none. So we have all of that right here on the African continent. And one more recommendation, if you ever also want to add on your bucket list, there is also a place where Namibia desert gets to meet the ocean, gets to meet the ocean. And this is also another place that perhaps is also spectacular in terms of views. This is a place where the Namib Desert also gets to meet the place where the Namib Desert also gets to meet with the sea, and the view is also very spectacular. So for me, if I was to pick like 5, not even 5, maybe I was given 10 items that I would like to see and put them on a bucket list, and then perhaps go see for myself on this beautiful continent of ours. Some of these items, like I said, would be, like I said, the Zambezi Falls. Also love to go see the Great Rift Valley. Of course, I have seen the Great Rift Valley, but it was just a bypassing. It was not really as on a tourist mission. Like I said, also seeing also other different spectacles right here on the African continent. For example, like this is where the Namib Desert gets to meet the sea, and you will see this is very hot. But I think around here there's a cool breeze coming from the sea. But on this other side now, when you cross over and get into this other side, then you might die of thirst and also the desert condition, also the heat that is there. So there are people here enjoying themselves. You can see. I also did show you a few people enjoy themselves on the Zambezi Falls, and life is like that for them. So they are used to these places, and they do not see anything really grand with being around these particular places. They just get to enjoy them as they are. If you are born in a certain kind of a place, maybe you are born in Egypt, where we do have the pyramids. I would also like to go personally go see the pyramids myself. If you're born in Egypt, where we do have the pyramids of Giza, you live around that particular place. It wouldn't be a matter of interest to you, because that place you walk around, the same place, you pass by the same pyramids every other day, so it wouldn't be of a big deal to you. But for me, like you said, those will be some of maybe the 5 places I would like to go see, and I would also really like to recommend them to you. Nonetheless, I want to go on into the matter of Zambia. Like you said, Zambia was formerly known as Northern Rhodesia during the colonial times, and there have been so many things that have changed ever since. And one of the things that have changed really to do with the Zambian country is that there was an economic there were on a good economic trajectory in the 1970s, and Zambia was considered to be doing really, really good. But also, right now, as we speak, there has been a hit because the copper prices have fallen. There are many resources in Zambia, but the resource that stands out the most, it's copper. So in the 1970s, Zambia gained its independence in the early 60s. So in the 1970s, there was an effort. There was a very, very big effort to make sure that Zambia is getting off the right footing from colonialism, and it's getting independent, and working its way up economically. But of course, those were the best days, the 1970s, the glory days. You might call them so, the glory days. And today, as we speak, the copper prices are really not doing very, very well. And you also get to understand, when there is an over-reliance on one sector of the economy by any nation, doesn't matter whether it's in Zambia, or maybe it's Nigeria that are over-reliant on oil, or maybe it's Kenya that is over-reliant on agriculture, or maybe it's Zanzibar that is over-reliant on tourism. So when a country is over-dependent on one area or over-dependent on one sector, then it means that they are not able to, put their minds or their eyes elsewhere. They're not able to diversify. They are really always waiting on that particular sector to be the main revenue earner for the country. But so because of this, the prices, since the prices of our copper started falling, and of course people got into the technology of using other different kind of items in the place of a copper, what did happen is that the country's economy started to crumble, because, like you said, of the over-reliance on this one sector of copper. We do have areas such as the Copper Belt region in Zambia. Let me just share these real quick so that you can see at least what I'm getting to talk about when I talk about the Copper Belt areas. We do have it. Sorry. So I will share with you. I was saying about the over-reliance of one sector, the over-reliance of one sector, and also the impact of relying on this particular sector. But there has been a big call, so that the country can also get back on its footing again. There has been a big call by the government on the people to really shift away from the mining only, to also diversify, get into other areas such as agriculture and also manufacturing. Right now, as it is, the African continent, you will find about 70% of the country is really reliant, not about 70, maybe about 60%, or maybe 60 to 70% of the countries in Africa heavily reliant on agriculture. And so what has happened is that there are some countries who rely on agriculture, others rely on tourism, and others rely on mining. But what has failed is the diversification of African economies, and that is why you will find people still living in poverty in so many countries. But the government of Zambia has been focused on trying to have people move from the reliance of these mining to go into agriculture. And here is a little bit about that. So you'll see for yourself that when a country relies on one area, it means that the future is very dependent on that particular area.
Now, hear our cry. That's the advice from one former miner in Zambia to the country's new president, Edgar Lunga. Lungu was re-elected in July and is due to be sworn into office later today. Zambia's mining sector, and in particular its producing of copper, have been heavily impacted by falling prices, with thousands of miners now unemployed. So the government has promised to hand out arable land, hoping to turn the workers into farmers. Dume and Aisha Ismail report from Zambia's aptly named Copperbelt province.
Once one of the largest copper producers in the world, now unemployment and poverty have taken over. 60% of Zambians live below the breadline and are struggling to make ends meet. But people here still live with hope of a better life. Peter is an ex-miner. He was retrenched last November. He proudly announces to his ex-colleague that their application for land has been approved, and it's just a matter of time before the allocation takes place.
Even mine is there. Jobs is there as well. We just have to go and make an effort to collect the this is a very good news. And we thank the President of the nation to hear our cry for this. But for what he has done, if this thing is going to be like, yes, we got it, then we are going to be landlords soon.
The Zambian government is hoping to turn miners into farmers. The country, which is suffering from a coal dependency, must diversify. Zambia used to be the second largest producer of copper in Africa after its neighbor, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But since 2011, the commodity has lost more than a third of its value. Almost 10,000 miners have lost their jobs since August 2015. And according to the mining industry, the only reason some companies are still operating is because of cost-cutting measures.
We don't have any control over the copper price. So the mining industry is resolved to do everything possible to survive under the current low copper price scenario. And without exception, all the mining companies are looking at where else can they reduce their costs.
For these ex-miners, the message is loud and clear. The golden days are over. Peter knows he has to find an alternative way of life. He's lucky enough to have a family who knows about planting. His father is also an ex-miner who went from pick to plough. Despite the terrible drought this year, the family produced more than 52 bags of maize, enough to carry the season. But the idea of having a farm as big as 5 hectares is a dream for this modest family.
It's a big portion. 5 hectares is a big portion of land. I can even move with Papa that side so that at least I have someone to take care of that land. Whereas we can grow into big farmers. So we expect that from the government.
But over the last months, the government has been too busy with the elections. The president's party forgot its promises.
So what happens really when it comes to campaign promises being made on the African continent? Really no one is held accountable after that. This is also one video regarding the move over people moving from the copper belt into the agricultural or the green belt.
Being here today, I'm Maggie.
I'm Kyle.
People. However, pollutants released into the air and soil from mines have devastating impacts on the health of community members. One of the most heavily polluted mining towns in the Copperbelt region of northern Zambia is Hichilema. While several current interventions focus on lead poisoning from closed mines in Kabwe, few interventions have reduced the health impacts experienced in the active mining community of Hichilema, home to the Mupani Copper Mines, a subsidiary of Glencore.
In Hichilema, community members are exposed to pollutants through both the movement of soil around the mine.
Yeah, that's a slow presentation right there by them crackers. But nonetheless, the point that I'm making is there has been a big push by the government on 5 acres is a lot of land. Yes, it is. Samuel, I think I don't know if you did start your farming, but how big is a land that you all farming, that you all working on? I would like to know, because I understand that some of the family on the Blackwood Financial have been letting us know that they are also working in putting in some projects, agricultural projects. I think I remember precise 158 saying that they also do have a big chunk of land that he is hoping to put into productive use. So for you also, you not know how big your land that you're putting into use is. But on the African continent, yes, I do believe 3 acres was going for 3 acres. Even if you do not have that much piece of land, I do believe even if you to have good agricultural practices, you will still get the most out of a small piece of land. The problem is there has been an exhaustion over the soils that we do have right here on the African continent because of bad agricultural practices. You will find people planting the same crop, not even rotating. There is the element of a rotation, which is also very, very important, that you also do get to rotate the crops that you are farming. I've seen some farmers day in, day out planting the same kinds of crops, and it means that they are also exhausting the soil. The minerals in the soils will be exhausted and other things like that. But in Zambia, right now, they do have a new president, and they are looking forward to having a change with matters on the ground. What was happening earlier on is that we did have the leadership of the former president, Edgar Lungu, and he has been, I think he has cried for. I have not had him, give a speech, but I think he was crying for that the election was really not fair, and there was some hits with the system, and therefore that is why he lost. But I have not seen, I think that is typical of African leaders. That is a very, very typical of African leaders. But before we talk about the African, these two, the former president and now the newly elected president or the president-elect, I also want us to take us to a matter of Zambia, which has to do with the changing of the capital city. And the capital city, of course, is known as Lusaka. If you ever tour Zambia, Zambia's capital city is known as Lusaka, and if you go to Zimbabwe's capital city is known as Harare. So in Zambia, they were having plans. The government was really talking about plans of moving the capital city from Lusaka to Gambwe. Moving the capital city from Lusaka to Gambwe. And I do know other big cities in Zambia. For example, we also do have Andola. If I ever get the opportunity to go to Zambia, I hope to tour these two cities, Lusaka and also Ndola. I do have friends both in Lusaka, and also I do have friends in Ndola as well, though I have never been there. But there was a plan to move its capital city from Lusaka to Gambo in the center. And I have seen many other countries move their capital cities, either because of overpopulation or either because of planning, the desires for better planning. And of course, the decision was announced by the Minister of National Planning, Lucky Mulusa, who said the choice has been proposed to the cabinet as Lusaka is congested and disqualified to be the capital city according to this government. He said, when you look at Lusaka in the next 10 years, the city will not be able to sustain as the rate at which commerce and industry and official activities are growing cannot be met with Lusaka's ability to grow its capacity. He said feasibility studies for the new capital based on the modern principles of sustainable development will begin immediately after the cabinet's approval. I do know something that has happened with the placing of our capital cities on Africa. Leave alone Lusaka. In the capital city in Africa, we do have some countries that have poorly placed their capital city. I know a capital city gives you a vantage point. It's like it gives you an advantage because you might be able, it's a place where it's easily accessible, and it's also a place maybe perhaps where you will be able to expand and also grow the country from, either as an administrative capital or either as for other different purposes. But what has happened on the continent of Africa, we do have some of the worst planned cities in the world in Africa. If you go to a place like the Central African Republic and look at their capital city is really placed near the borders to all these other different countries. Let me just share these with you so that you can see what I'm talking about before you go back in the matter of Zambia, and you will see about the capital cities in Africa. I'm hoping I would be able to get one of these maps right here. Let me see if I'm able to get one of these just to demonstrate my point. You will find some of the capital cities are being placed in places where it's really, really crazy. And you are wondering, was there any thought given to the planning of this city, or was it done hastily so that they could just have a capital city, or was there any kind of a thinking that was put in the matter of making up, putting all the creation of this particular city? So I was talking about the Central African Republic, and the Central African Republic has one of the worst placed capital cities because it's the border with every other. It's very, very close to the border with every other country. And for me, I do think this also, puts it at a disadvantage. You might see on this particular map, if you go to the Central African Republic, this is where we do have the Central Africa Republic, and it is very, very close to the border with Nigeria. It is also very, very close to the border with Cameroon. It is also very, very close to the border with Niger. And this does not give it really an advantage. If anyone wants to come from the top here, and access the capital city of Chad, it would be very, very also difficult. And also the capital city of the Central African Republic, which is Bangui, it has also been placed very, very close to the borders with every other country. So it's close to the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo, close to the border with the Cameroon. It's also very, very close to the border with all these different neighboring countries. You'll also find the port cities of different states. For example, if you go to Nigeria, you will find cities very, very close to some capital cities, very, very close to the ocean or to the sea. These are capital port cities, really. And I also do believe these did not offer them any kind of vantage point. If there was to happen any attack, then that particular kind of attack on the capital city would be implemented very, very quick, because these are capital cities that are very, very close to the edge or to the borders here. So, it would just take a matter of maybe a few hours or maybe a few days to conquer, if at all there was any kind of an invasion. So there are different elements of the situation or the planning of the capital cities on the continent of Africa. But that is not really my point. My point was that in Zambia, they also did have the move trying to change their capital city. We also do have countries such as Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam was once the capital city of Tanzania, but it's no longer the capital city because it could not be able to keep up with the growth needs of the country. And we also do have places such as Lagos and also Abuja. These are two places where the city was also moved. And other different places on the continent of Africa, you will find the growth prospects for the country not being very, very coherent with the positioning of the capital city. So they just decide to leave that alone. It's either too much congested, or either it's very, very difficult to have better planning or the expansion of that particular kind of capital city, and therefore they decide just to move it. And I think even these countries that have the port cities, they should also maybe perhaps also consider having other different options for that is the cities. That is according to my thinking. You might as well also have you might also well share your 2 cents about it. Nonetheless, I want to move a little bit further from that. Before we get in the matter of what is happening in Zambia, I just want to take us into Nigeria for a second. And Nigeria right now, they have accepted the jobs that are being offered to them. The Nigerians have received the Moderna jab, which was donated to them by the US. So on Monday, the health workers in Nigeria were given, or there was a donation given on Monday, and they decided to vaccinate the people with the Moderna jab, as the country aims to protect its population amid a huge surge in infections. When you look at all these stories and you just get to think about it, there is a problem somewhere, even with the thinking of the African. And also, it might be that the leaders really don't care that much, or the leaders don't, the leaders, of course, already sold the people. And I do know that this president, who is Muhammad Buhari, is a puppet of the West, and he takes any orders. He will actually be taking any orders from the US, and also that is where his interest really lies in terms of taking care after the interest of the US. So this is him, and like I said, there was a receiving of these millions of jobs that have been received from the USA. They also say Nigeria, with more than 210 million people, earlier received 4 million doses of Moderna donated by the USA. And people also better be aware of what is happening with this. But let me share a little bit of this, and I'll also tell you what the situation with these jabs in Kenya.
Jumia, upgrade your home. You order, we deliver. Jumia.
Health workers in Nigeria on Monday started to vaccinate people with the Moderna COVID-19 as the country aims to protect its population amid a surge of infections. Africa's most populous nation has been able to vaccinate only about 1.23% of its population, according to Africa's CDC. It continues to see a spike in infection rates driven by the highly infectious Delta variant.
One, it helps to prevent infections, But even if one,
there's a kind of a nonsense that going on with that. But nonetheless, we do have also in Kenya what is happening in Kenya, because in Africa, we do have two countries that are really also almost the same kind of way in terms of also the thinking and the leadership that we do have, the puppet leadership that we do have. So right now, from this particular report, they are saying the frustration from erratic jabs have made Kenyans slam the vaccine aid. That is exactly what is being reported. So Kenyans are receiving the jabs, express concerns over the country's dependency on donation of doses. The East African country has administered 2 million jabs. The country has not been able to buy its own because it's just donations are coming in. And of course, there was one of the residents who was saying that we are very dependent on foreign powers, which is something that has not started recently. It's something that has started ever since I can remember. And as a country, I believe we can be able to manage ourselves. That is one of the residents. And I do like the spirit with these residents in Kenya who have said that, people should also not really just take these donations very, very seriously. What the vaccine are made before the Delta variant come out? That's a good question, Samuel. Whether the one made before these the variant? My thinking, I'm really not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but my thinking, I do think that it was not before these Delta variant. So what will happen is that there will be consistent donations and donations and donations and donations. And then, now another variant comes up, and then there are more donations, and then another different variant comes up, and it's nonsense. But nonetheless, I do urge people to really just step back and do their own critical thinking. Just step back and do your own critical thinking, because you need to use your brain, whether be it in Kenya or whether be it in Nigeria. But there is a lot of corruption and also puppet leadership. That is why people are being led like sheep. And if you're walking just like that, like sheep following without even doing your own thinking, then that will be to the detriment of the people. But nonetheless, going back to Zambia, like I said, today's our focus is mainly on Zambia. So we do have Hichilema, who has taken Zambia as a top job. And this, I do believe, is an individual that has tried so many times. After trying for 6 times, this is the 6th time that he has tried his attempt at the presidency, and he has now finally gotten it. The problem with these people like this is according to my personal opinion, does not represent the opinion of the network. The problem with someone that has been vying, and then they finally get it, when they get to that particular position of power, they do feel very, very much entitled. Now this is the 6th time that he has been tried, so they will feel this is deserved of them. So in as much as you might try to hold them accountable, or have demands on them, or have expectations from them, and you want them to do like this, or help the country out like this, or redeem the country in terms of the unemployment, in terms of the economy, in terms of all these other challenges that are faced by the Zambian people, you do find someone that has tried so many times also now have that particular kind of I deserve this kind of a notion, or I'm entitled to this. This is the 6th time, and I have been chosen in. I have been fighting for this, and now it's time for me to rest. It's not like someone who was tried like a 2nd time or the 1st time, and they are in, and so they are able to get right into it. For this one now, you will also have a lot of favors to carry with the people that he has been trying to work with to get him here. He'll have appointments. Perhaps these appointments might not really be so much logical. It might not be so much, what can I call it, sensible. It might be about paying back favors, for him getting in. But it might be too early. I might also be wrong. It might be too early. That is just my personal opinion. But Hakainde Hichilema, a Zambian veteran opposition politician and a businessman, he's a tycoon, has tried 6 times for the country's presidency before finally landing the top job on Monday. With more than 2.8 million votes, he has secured a landslide against his longtime rival, President Edgar Lungu, who garnered just 1.8 million votes on the ballot cast on August 12th. That was last week on Thursday. Hichilema has described himself as just an ordinary cattle boy, and has contested and lost every election held in the Southern African country since 2006, though he has been buoyed each time by an increased share of the vote. In 2016, he unsuccessfully challenged the results to the presidential election, which he said was stolen from him after he narrowly lost by 100,000 votes. And of course, this time around, the 59-year-old opposition leader lurched into widespread dissatisfaction with Lungu's running of the economy, and are campaigning under the slogan "Fuck up pressure," meaning put pressure for for change. Of course, he's no stranger to controversy in the copper-rich nation, having run afoul of the authorities numerous times. And he has regularly mentioned that he has been arrested 15 times since getting into politics, most recently in 2016 after he faced treason charges for allegedly failing to give way for the presidential motorcade. And just a whole lot of things are going on. But I do say with the African problem that we do have, is the fact that you will find one puppet leader being traded for another puppet leader. So he has been on the scene and he has tried violence since 2006. For 6 times he has not been able to acquire this position. So finally now he has it. And now the Zambian people might go out in the streets. Like you will find them dancing on this video talking about, time for change and time for all these other nonsense. But also at the end of the day, people need to realize that, things might not really change as much. You should not really have a lot of hope when it comes to these particular matters of the change in this particular country. But let me share this. You can see the people celebrating in the streets, and this is the feeling that was in the air after the election of the leader President Hichilema. Brother Lando Winter, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. I think you're up too early. I don't know what time it is. You're up too early. I haven't seen you on this show for a minute. So I'm suspecting that you might be up too early today. And I want to welcome you to the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We are discussing briefly about the matter of Zambia. And I was saying that they have had a heavy dependence. They have had, they have had a much dependence on the copper or the mining sector, and therefore that has resulted them, to be behind. Because if you are relying on one particular sector of the economy, which is a copper, which is mining, and then the prices of a copper are declined, then it means you will not have diversity in your economy, and there is not even a lot of manufacturing going on in Zambia. You cannot call Zambia an industrialized country. First and foremost, they do have challenges to do with even with the energy. They are not really self-sufficient when it comes to energy in their country. Hi, Kid, how are you doing?
No, I'm good. How about you, Spikes?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. We were talking a little bit about the matter of Zambia, and I was just telling the fam that when you do have African countries relying on one sector, I was saying, for example, like Zambia is relying on minerals mining. If you go to Zanzibar, they rely on tourism. If you come to Kenya, we rely on agriculture. If you go to Nigeria, they also rely on oil, which is a mining. That kind of dependency on one sector of the economy has led Africa to remain at the bottom, because there is no way you have in one sector and then
it's not diversified enough.
In the other sector,
it's not diversified enough. It's not diversified enough.
Yeah. But we are still the ones also digging out the minerals and are trading them. We have not focused on industrializing our economies, or putting together manufacturing concerns or processing our plants to make sure that when we have these minerals coming from the ground, or even when we do have the produce from the farms, we can also be able to put value addition on them. We can also be able to set up our factories and process them and also distribute or sell them among us African countries. The quantity of trade among us African countries is very, very low. You will find, for example, if you're talking about Zambia and Zimbabwe, when you look at the level of trading between these two countries, it's really not. I don't believe it has even met its. It's even close to meeting its potential.
Well, you got country economics that was set up to benefit Europeans, not Africans. Mm-hmm. So these puppets have never anything that benefits African people. As long as they get a cut of what's being stole out the country, they were all right. So that's why you had the messed up borders. Why you had no trade within Africa, because no one ever cared about actually having trade with Africa. Their trade was back to the European the European colonizer. If you was part of French colony, all your trade went to France. If you're English colony, all your trade went to England. So it was never these puppets saying, you know what, I need to make a viable economy actually for my country. They're like, no, they knew they were nothing but stewards of the old British Empire or the French Empire or Portuguese Empire. It was never about freeing Africa and having African people benefit from the extraordinary resources of Africa. It was to make sure their family got a little bit of the siphon and to make sure all the money and profit went back to the European masters. That's why you didn't have trade, which is idiotic. What you used to have in Africa before the Europeans showed up was trade between kingdoms, but they wasn't country kingdoms because they were right there next to you. So your main trading partner is 7,000 miles away up in France and Europe or England or some shit. You're talking about absolutely insanity. Go ahead, Spikes.
No, I'm saying it's very, very true because I'm just checking right here and I'm seeing that the volume of our trade between Zambia and Zimbabwe was just $59 million, $59.2 million dollars. So it's really very, very small. If I look at, for example, the trade between Kenya and Uganda, I do that. That was about 580 million. That is at least that is bigger. The trade between Uganda and Kenya is 580. But the trade between Zambia and Zimbabwe is at 52, which does not make 59.2.
Well, here you go. Now let's get a surprising number. What's the number between Uganda and Britain, Kenya and Britain, Zambia and Britain? These are all British colonies. Now let's see them numbers. Let's see them numbers.
Volume of trade between.
And how much you want to believe it benefits Britain and not fucking Zambia and Kenya and Uganda? You can throw Tanzania in there too. Shit.
So what I do see, the total UK exports globally was let me see, another 100 between Kenya. The one between Kenya and the UK is 0.75 billion. It's billion.
How about that?
Billion. So you can see the level of trade between Kenya and Britain, and also the level of trade between Kenya and Uganda. You cannot compare. You know the volume for Uganda and Kenya is 580 million, and then with Britain is $1 billion. It's over twice. It's more than 2 times the volume.
Of course, that's what I told you. They were set up when they were set up to supply Britain. Empire. That's why you still putting something called the fake ass Commonwealth. Where you will still be under British rule. Commonwealth is controlled by, suppose, the Queen of England. She said, how you going to be in Southern Africa and some white bitch is the head of the shit? It's completely backward, crazy, asinine, and retarded.
And it's also the same. It's also the same because if you look at the volume of a trade between Zambia and Britain, you will find it's about 98 million.
I've already told you that. I told you that. You find the same. You find the same with the. You find the same with the French colony Spikes. You find Africa is dysfunctional on purpose. Dysfunctional on purpose. It's never. When you talk about the book, why did Europe keep Africa underdeveloped? That's why. I want the resources coming to Europe, not to you dirty ass Africans. I'm not trying to let you have your resources actually benefit you. I put my puppets there. I steal my resources and keep you impoverished and keep you underdeveloped. That's the plan. That's the plan I set up. That's the plan I'm sticking to. And if you Africans deviate from the plan, I'm going to put a bullet in your motherfucking head.
But my hope is that with the rapidly growing population on the African continent, the volume of our trade would go up between African countries.
You can hope that shit all damn day long until Africans wake up and start to fight. You got the majority of people in South Africa are African. Why are they on the bottom? Huh? So you're talking about the African mindset. African mindset to become a coward. How the hell they're the minority, the white people, the Asians, but they own, and the Indians, but they own all of South Africa. And all African people are impoverished in their own land. That tells you there's a problem with the African mindset. That lets you know there's something wrong with us as a people. That doesn't do just your numbers. There's something wrong with you. You do not know how to acquire power. You're scared of power, and you don't fight for shit. That's good. So we have to be actually honest and saying what's going on with African people globally. That you can still be ruled from a small minority. There's nothing wrong with the minority. There's something wrong with us. There's something wrong with us, period. Because can't no other minority go in no other country and rule them. It only happens to African people. So that you know what the fuck is wrong with us. So we got to start figuring, hey, what the fuck is wrong with us? Stop saying, oh, we do this. Now, fuck all that. Something wrong with us. Something wrong with us. Till you figure that out, I don't give a fuck who wins what election and all this other stuff. That's all kabuki theater. African allowed people. Why you got the Chinese now who are minority in Zambia dominating the Zambians then? You see it again. That's the same fucked up behavior again in Africa. So it's got to be figure out what's wrong with the African. And he'll let small minorities come in and rule his ass. That's the question we got to ask. You can't be afraid to ask it.
But also the dynamics when it comes to trade and also development, they are also changing on the continent of Africa, because in a few years ago, we did have the US and being the largest trading partner with Africa, but right now it has been surpassed by it actually happens to be China now, which is the country that has the largest. Now the shift has moved to China.
It don't make a difference. The same thing. You still got another ruler, another foreign master over you. Why? You still don't control your trade. You still are impoverished because you're weak. And the African I hate to say is an idiot. He won't come together and unify, so he's always going to be on the bottom. Always be on the bottom. So the African grows up. The African can grow up again, you always be on the bottom. Always. Here goes another thing. Let's go back to when the Kenyan guy was late to work in China. I mean, for the Chinese restaurant. And they sat around and let some Chinese foreign man whip him. That's the problem with Africa. You understand the problem. In Zambia, when you got some Chinese being pulled by some African on top of a motherfucking cart. That's the problem. Mindset of weakness, the mindset of servitude. That's why I said African makes the perfect servant. He's compliant with people putting their boot all over his goddamn face. He's compliant with it. The day that Chinese raised his hands in Kenya to whip an African, he should have been murdered right then and there. I'm not talking about beat up. He should have been murdered of an inch of his motherfucking life. The response of African people is ridiculous. Is ridiculously nonsensical. You let other people come and abuse you on your own land. There's a problem with you mentally. Oh, did I lose you, Spikes? You got lost, Spikes. You there, Spikes? Spike's making some of his coffee or something. I don't know what Spike's doing. And it's beyond that. I'm gonna tell you all this shit's a wrap. I'm putting these videos out, man. When I tell you what's really going on this planet, and I've been getting downloads, I hope some of you guys can understand where it's, man, motherfucker. You don't know we in a galactic war. I mean galactic. I ain't talking about no fucking earthly war. This is galactic. I'm gonna put all this shit up on Patreon. I gotta spend hours doing this shit this damn weekend. I gotta put all this up. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh my God. Niggas talking about goofy museums. Oh man, y'all don't know. Oh my God, what's going on? We in end times right here, boy. This is sheesh. Sitting meditating, getting all these damn downloads. Oh my God. Mike's, where you at? Mike, you there? What you doing? Where's it Mike? Can you guys hear me? Is it me? Maybe I messed up. Maybe my voice ain't coming in the spikes. Maybe it's my voice. Alex, you there? Can you guys hear me? Maybe it's me. Check my other. Can you guys hear me? I think it's me gone out. 1 2 1 2. All right, you there? Exactly right, Big Cheese. That is it, Big Cheese. That is it, Big Cheese. You don't have if Africa's weak, you get no respect around the globe. That's why Chinese never got no respect until China became a power. Chinese were always smashed in the face, made fun of, especially here in white society. They always made the Chinese look weak and fucked up. Until China got strength, Chinese people got respected. Yeah, that's the reason why you're disrespected. Because Africans are disrespected.
Apologies, kid. Sorry.
What are you doing?
My connection was bad. I can hear. Okay. I see you saying I can hear you, kid. Speak to that bathroom break. Also, Lando Winter is up early. I never see Lando Winter on this show. I think Lando Winter is up early. You say now, without a centralized African system of government, the continent of Africa will always be controlled by foreigners. And also the problem with the currency, when I was talking about it, because I was looking at also from the aspect of a trade, we do not have a common currency. So it means that if you're trying to do business from Botswana, do business with maybe Uganda, or do business from Uganda, do with the Chad, and also maybe do with another West African country.
Remember at the beginning, what Spikes is saying is true. Beginning, that's what they wanted to do, but the Europeans stopped that. That's why they created that fake ass African Union shit. It stopped putting Africans. Remember Kwame Nkrumah and Patrick Lumumba and all of them, they said we got to have a United States of Africa. Europeans like, hell no, hell no, hell no. We all these years divide and conquer these goofy niggas. We can't allow them to have a United States of no damn Africa. So they put another faction together. That's where you got the AU created by the cracker to always cause division and keep Africa fucked up.
They know if we do have a centralized government or even a United Africa, we would have now a competition for resources. Now there will be a competition for African resources. If the countries are trading amongst themselves, the countries are industrialized, it means that maybe if you wanted to buy cobalt, it means that maybe there will be a company buying
each country would have been like states. It wouldn't have been no Kenya and all that shit. It would have been states. Kenya would have been a state, Nigeria would have been a state in the bigger scheme of Africa. They would have had states. So they would have had governors, not presidents. And they knew if you give these countries presidents, no one want to relinquish their fiefdom, their kingdoms, helping Europeans rob Africa. They knew that. Said we can't afford to build countries. We got to unite now. If we don't, we'll never. The European will always be there. They didn't even think about the Asian. The Asian was still impoverished back then. They didn't even think about the Asian yet. They're like, shit, if we don't unite now, the European will always do something to fuck it up. We got to unite now. We can't allow you to become presidents because you won't never want to relinquish the power. You don't want to get the power later on. You have corrupt systems set up that don't want to relinquish power within these countries. These fiefdoms.
Also, they do not. I think I've also heard Dr. Arikana saying that, with these small, tiny countries, for example, Togo, you cannot have Togo going on the bargaining table and bargain with the US or bargain with China.
No, that's on purpose.
You will get there. There
should be no Togo, no Benin, and all this other. There should be no Equatorial Guinea. These are nonsensical countries. That they only done to steal and rob for Europeans. That's why they were created.
So if you're going as Togo to bargain, really on the bargaining table, and you're talking about you want to sell your product for this amount, the Chinese will just laugh at you and say you're buying it for this amount of money. So they will dictate the price because you do not have the bargaining, you don't have the power.
You don't have the number, you don't have the power. You got to say Togolese and Benin, all that dumb shit. not a Togolese, not a Benin. It's always to cause confusion. African people grow up and say, hey, they got to drop all this crazy shit to Europeans. Europeans have destroyed us. You got to be able to honestly say, the Europeans have destroyed us. We got to throw all this shit out of here. We got to stop the tribalism. We got to stop these fake countries they created. And we got to start doing this for our children. We got to give a fuck about our children. Till we do that, that means we got to fight then. This continent is rich. It's supposed to be for African people. And we'll fight anybody that tells us different. That's got to be the thing, acquiring power. And at any cost, you'll kill anybody that gets in your goddamn way. Period. Same way other people do. We'll kill you for our power. Then African people will be respected again. Because you mean business. You're not to be fucked with. You're not going to be fucked around with. You're not to be trifled with.
And of course, when you also look at the African people themselves, it's only when they get out of the continent that they want to of course are now hashed down with the kind of tribalism and division that you do have. But when it's
I don't even bring that up no more. Exactly right, Spike. Tribalism is magically gone now.
Yeah. So you will find them now coming together in unity once you do find them out of the continent. But on the continent, someone wants to be Yoruba. Someone wants to be Igbo, someone wants to be, all these are different kind of a tribal nonsense.
Well, you got to understand the leaders promote that the Europeans claim it too because it brings them power. Just like in Kenya, I told you, you lived it. Kenya almost had a civil war because of them fucked up elections because they were dividing these European-backed rulers were dividing the people up into tribalism. Kenya almost got torn apart with 2007. All these damn factions and doing the bidding of these Europeans, these wicked ass, fucking fake ass Kenyan African leaders should have been not even elected. The whole parliament of Kenya, Nigeria, and all that shit's supposed to be torn down. It's wicked, it's corrupt, and it doesn't serve African people whatsoever because it was never meant to. South Africa doesn't serve African people. It was never meant to. Zimbabwe doesn't serve African people. It's never meant to. And this goofy Negro being elected in Zambia is not there to serve African people because it was never meant to.
What he will do is he might move from one puppet leader to another. He might be now.
That's what you do.
Because he has been trying to get into the presidency for 6 years. This is for 6 times. This is the 6th time that now he has gotten the opportunity. Now, saying for me, I think you might find someone like that having the tendency to think that they deserve
it. Once, twice, 3 times, and 6 times a puppet. I'll be your puppet.
That is what he is trying. He's trying to. He might have that.
Yeah, that's what the European always does. They place one puppet. They put the other puppet in, and you always see African dancing in the street, not knowing that they just elected another puppet because they know the Africans not sophisticated enough to understand geopolitics. Yay, we got rid of one puppet! Yay! That's what they getting set up in Uganda with Bobby Wine puppet ass. Yay, we got rid of him 45 years of this fucking puppet. Yay, we got Bobby Wine. And don't shit change, you get more fucked up. Is it damn? I'm Bobby Wine. And what was Bobby Wine doing? Hey, dummy.
Bobby
the
Wine
new boss is the same as the old boss.
Yeah. Bobby Wine, people are thinking like Maria in Uganda when she did an interview with him.
She knows a puppet. She knows a puppet. She said he asked a certain question. He refused to ask about Bill Gates and other people. So I'm not ready to ask that, Maria. Yeah, of course you're not ready to ask it, you puppet. I didn't see Joby show. Did Joby do a show this morning, Spikes? I missed it.
No.
Okay.
Let me share a video of this interview with Bobby Wine so that you can. I don't know if they took it down. I think it's still here. You could see Maria. We could see him trying to evade some.
It might be one of the back channels. I don't know. Is it still up on one of the backup channels?
It's probably. Let me just get it.
I don't think it's still up, is it?
It could be on the smaller channel, the Africa channel. I think it might be on the Africa channel. Yeah, it is on the Africa channel. So let me share what was happening with Bobby Wine, the African puppet.
I'm ready.
That's why he's promoting all kind of homosexuality in Uganda. Yes, these faggots here suck dick in Uganda. What? What are you talking about?
This is Maria here.
What's that got to do with the poverty in Uganda? You talking about people there suck each other's dicks in Uganda? What are you talking about?
I think there has been a law that was put in place also in Uganda, but has been taken down. I think they were trying to do with that LGBTQ nonsense. Let me play this.
I'm ready.
Welcome to the Blackwood Fire Meeting. We Africa, Maria with my honorable chaplain. So
I need to hit that rooster head and put him in a pot and cook him.
I have
yeah, someone should have slaughtered that.
My brothers are out there waiting to share this with you. Please share that video on my Facebook page. Mr. Honorable Chairman, thank you very much for entertaining me. Thank you very much for bringing me hosting me here, as I also host you back to my people. It's a privilege, not only my privilege, but also those people who have so much been waiting to share this communication. And we are so very much privileged as the Blackwood Fire today. This is Africa, and we are in Uganda, in Magere, to be precise, his own area.
I don't even know where the hell Maria is at now.
She was saying she was in Magere. Magere is, I think, where the hometown, the house, where the hometown of the president.
Okay.
They are spying.
She's in the hometown of the president?
No, that was in Magere, the hometown for Bobby Wine, Magere.
Oh, okay, back then. No, I'm saying thank you, my dad. I thought where she's at now.
I have no idea. I have no idea whether she moved to the Congo. She might have moved to the Congo.
I'm a Ugandan, and the most important question I love to answer is why are you up to? What is this that you're doing? Because it's important for people to understand what we are doing. That is the only way they will appreciate that this is not about me. It's not about the president. It's not about individuals. It's about us.
She was asking about Bill Gates and all his partnerships with these people, these wicked ass people. They know he's a puppet.
It also reminds me of Julius Malema of South Africa. Julius Malema has also been another puppet. But people, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Spike.
People were thinking that if Julius Malema came to become the president in South Africa, something would tell because he was talking hard. You know, he was talking about the land being given back, talking about people being taking the jobs and testing out the Europeans. But
yeah, he's what they call controlled opposition. What they've always used with African people in America and in Africa, controlled opposition. Just like in America, we've got no leaders at all in America. Your congressional leaders are not your leaders. NAACP was set by white people to destroy us from within. NAACP is fake. Urban League is fake. People to make sure we stay on the bottom. Every last one of them. That's why you got no congressional black caucus that represents anybody black in America. None of them. You can't name shit the Congressional Black Caucus has ever done for black people in 50 years of its fucking raggedy ass existence. They've done nothing because they were created not to do nothing for black people. That's why they're there.
The system doesn't work because it's meant not to work. It has been made.
Exactly, Spike. Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Now you're sophisticated, Spike. Exactly.
Big T's, I agree with you. You remind me of Ansankino on a conversation Ansankino was telling us about. You were saying there should be 1,000 Africans listed as the richest people on the earth before Bill Gates. That reminds you of Mansa Musa. But now there was a conversation Ansankino was telling us about that he was having a conversation with someone and he was asking them whether they had heard about Mansa Musa. And this guy looked at them and then said, King Solomon. No, I've not heard about Mansa Musa, but I know about King Solomon. And then Unsung Kenon just kept it pushing. Unsung Kenon, I think, even did not engage him.
He said, no, brother, you lied. The Bible says it's King Solomon. No, brother, you're misinformed. The Bible said it was King Solomon. God damn.
So he just kept it pushing because he was not ready to engage with that nonsense.
He said the guy was out of, I think Sigmund said the guy was either Caribbean African or an African. I don't know.
Yeah.
He said, man, my God. He said, no, brother, you're mistaken. The Bible said it's King Solomon. Like, God damn. Deny his own history for a fairy tale that never existed. That's why we're not taking seriously. Everybody knows Mansa Musa was the richest man who ever lived, but the black person. He'll fight and say, no, brother, you got that wrong, brother. It's King Solomon. What?
So,
yeah, it says right here in this book.
Yeah. People who rather stick to fairy tales and factual, historical facts. But nonetheless, we are almost winding up, family, and I want to thank everyone for joining us on the broadcast. I see Lando.
So did Joby make it in, Sprite, or did she stay at home?
She's not feeling well. She's not feeling well, so she has not been able to come through and do the show. Her voice really went out.
Her voice went out. I'm sorry. Her voice is getting better. Her voice went completely out on her. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I don't know what she was trying to. I don't know if she took the things that you told her to try, the hot water and the lemons and the garlic. I don't think.
Spikes is probably happy. Spikes is happy because Joby's always combative against his ass. It's not like Cammy. Cammy just Joby's always combative.
You might also learn something with a combative mode. But Africa needs a country with a military structure and the capabilities to develop our weapons, mainly lesser systems to combat the Western powers. This is achievable.
They won't develop no weapons. That's another thing. Why there's no weapons being built in that? They got weapons running around Africa with these fake terrorists. Ain't got no money for no food, but I got all these bullets and big ass guns and shit. Where these guns and bullets came? I can't even afford to buy shoes and shit.
You will find the Al-Shabaab with all those sophisticated weapons.
Al-Shabaab, Boko Harams. We know this is that. We know that's created by the Europeans. Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram is created by the Europeans. There's no fucking Al-Shabaab and Boko Haram. Where they getting money from? Huh? They ain't growing shit. They don't got no industries in Africa. So they got money to buy all these weapons and do all this terrorist shit. These are keep the countries unstable. Make sure they do what the European tells them. We'll bring Al-Shabaab. I think Al-Shabaab comes into Kenya. All that old shit, or Boko Haram, whatever that goofy shit called. Now you got Al-Shabaab all the way down in Mozambique. How the fuck did they jump from Somalia? They take a pirate boat and then all of a sudden land in Mozambique where all the gold and minerals are at? How interesting. Al-Shabaab is now in northern Mozambique. You out of your rabbit ass mind.
That is the kind of a thing that you will find right now. There is a lot of fighting because there was the discovery of
Africa has all the riches. So until Africa has a real military, from not no goofy Kenyan military buying crop dusters and shit. A real military, which Africa does not have none. A real military. Africa's a laughing stock on the planet, and then you get taught by your enemies. We got the Russians teaching us. We got the Americans or the Chinese teaching us how to do military structure. That's another one of your problems. And now, how you gonna fight them if they know your whole military structure, dummy? Africans didn't need no help from nobody fighting years ago. Africa was the most fearsome fighter on the planet. That's why the Europeans couldn't get into Africa till 500 years ago. They were never allowed to get into Africa. Now the Africans don't know how to fight. He needs he calls on his enemies to teach him how to fight. So it means he will always be undermined if he has to go to war with these people because they the one taught him all his tactics, but they didn't teach him all their tactics. So it's another being subjugated and being put into a childlike position. Idiotic. To the Africans said, hey, listen, we got to develop our own military and we got to do it separately of any Russians, French, English, American cracker. We got to be able to be self-sufficient and make a real functional military. And I mean a hard-hit military that knocks a motherfucker in the mouth.
One thing.
And the military's got to be unapologetic. We get an Al-Shabaab and a Boko Haram run around the country, we're going to wipe their ass out. It ain't going to be no negotiating. We're going to let them know. If you don't stop now, we're going to wipe your ass out. Then as a result, if we find any of your family members were behind it, we're going to wipe your family out too. See, that's how you bring back power in the African continent. You be unapologetic with power. We find any of your family was behind this terrorist act, we're going to kill them too with your ass. We're going to make an example of your motherfucking ass. So all Africans can see that we mean business. We're going to make an example out of you.
One thing that they know that they always are trying to bring is that these are cause and confusion that Big Cheese is talking about, because they know that when they cause and confusion, they can't be able to loot as much, and they will not even be paying anything for that. They will not be paying anything for that. But I think
I keep confusion. I keep the African ignorant and confused. That keeps me rich. Keep the African ignorant, confused, and broke and stop down in the religion. He's confused. He's over religious. That means he's superstitious, but he doesn't know science. He's confused, over religious, and he's ignorant. Hey, that works in my behalf. I love it. Africa couldn't be more better.
I believe the solution is what is.
Let me ask you a question before we got here. Let's ask this question. Have you ever seen this? Now you see this all in Africa. When white people show up, they have a bunch of Africans dancing in front of these crackers. Dancing. Hey, look at us dance, cracker. Right? Have you ever seen an African leader go to any other country and people are dancing in front of his ass? You ever see an African leader go to England and they dance? They got a group of white people dancing in front of them. Or you go to Asia and a bunch of Asians are dancing and shit.
People are way too busy minding their business. When you see those Europeans are coming to the continent, even some roads, there are some blockages on some roads because they want to, even alter the traffic so that some of these quote unquote leaders can come in and visit Africa. But when you go to the African leaders go into Europe, there will not be any kind of a road traffic.
Hell no, blocking the road. No, hey, Spikes, the people that country won't even know that African leaders even there. They won't even know he's there, Spikes. Like who's here? Hey, Mama Chabi Dabi is here from Togo. Who the fuck is that and why is he here?
Mobutu Seko is in the State House with Ronald Reagan, and no one would even notices that.
No one even knew. No, they're not going to stop no traffic in Washington. They're not going to announce it, and no one's going to give a shit. Exactly right, Spike. No one's gonna give a shit about no Mobutu Seko and now visiting Ronald Reagan. When you show me that shit, like I ain't know Mobutu even visited Ronald Reagan. That was news to me. That shit's 35 years ago.
Yeah, but I was saying the only kind of a solution that we can ascribe is really having that one centralized government, or African are coming together and having the common.
Reagan said black people don't even wear shoes. He up there, look at me. Ronald Reagan's my friend. Ronald Reagan said you don't even wear shoes, you dummy.
That is a moment where you realize that no one really takes the African, even the puppet leaders are any serious because they have already.
Because they know they're puppets. They're puppets. Exactly right. They'll do imagery. Oh, look at us. My great friend to say, hey, he's back there killing people, innocent people in the Congo, starving people. Look at my good friend Mobutu Seko. He's my very good friend from Africa. Yes, and Ronald Reagan's my very good friend. While the country's all fucking in disrepair and fucked up, he's his good friend because he's allowed to steal from the Congo. My good friend Mobutu. Oh, my good friend.
This is after having a meeting with Mobutu Seko. This is what Ronald Reagan was saying on a call with Nixon. Let me share a little bit of this so that you can see.
They ain't wearing no shoes and shit. They're dummies. You go ahead.
They're monkeys.
They're monkeys.
African are really monkeys.
Right.
This is what he was saying, Reagan. You were saying the monkeys are still uncomfortable wearing shoes. That was maybe perhaps after the meeting with either before the meeting or after the meeting with
that's actually before. That's before. That's when Ronald Reagan was still governor. He wasn't president yet. No, Nixon was president then. Yeah. He was governor of California. He wasn't president yet. Remember, he met Siseko when he was president. Yeah, a few years later, he became president. That was before. Now, let you know how he felt before he met him. My great friend, Mobutu Siseko. This nigga don't even wear shoes.
On the heels of President Trump using his parodic imagery to describe African nations, new tapes have just been released by the National Archives that reveal similar language used by the late President Ronald Reagan. So let me take you back to 1971, and it was Reagan, who was, by the way, the governor of California at the time, was on the phone with then President Richard Nixon. So during this conversation, Reagan referred to leaders of African nations as, quote, monkeys, and then President Nixon gets in his own dig. Here you go.
And Mobutu's my great friend. There's no good dirty black monkey.
And then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it? Yeah, the tail wags the dog.
Yeah, the tail wags and the dog. That is that just what simply saying that was really a puppet because that is what they have when you draw that.
That's how they feel about all African leaders, Mike. They feel all African leaders. They know the puppets. They know that they're puppets. They know the morons. So I'm gonna talk to them and shit. To get respect and power, dignity, you must get power. Power means you must let people know I won't be fucked with. I won't be fucked with, Spikes. I'm here to bust you in your motherfucking mouth. You know, the African hasn't understood that. He's like, oh, well, I just smile and grin and be boot licking and do what white people tell me. They don't, they want you to be a puppet, but they don't respect your ass.
Idi Amin was the one who was about that business. Idi Amin was the only one.
That's why they didn't like Idi Amin. Exactly. That was the one leader. They didn't say nothing about exactly. Idi Amin was about power. That's why they made all kind of fucked up movies about him. Everybody said Idi Amin was about power. And he told you this is gonna be African, ruled by African power. That's what he told it. We're gonna be ruled by African power. All you fucking no good dirty Indians who have disrespected goddamn African people since the British brought your no good ass in here, get all your shit. And you got 72 hours to get the fuck out of Uganda. And if you're left here, you think I'm joking, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your motherfucker. What the world community do? Oh my God! But they respected his ass because they know he meant business. He wasn't like no. Hey, he's not gonna do it. Shit. You get all your shit. Get all this shit.
I see a comment by Big T's. Are you saying that they would recognize Eddie Murphy before they recognize an African leader? You remember when he did that? The coming to America.
Oh, coming to America, yeah, too. Yeah, of course they was. Exactly right. He's the great leader of Africa, Eddie Murphy, in the mythical fake African kingdom called. What was that kingdom called? What was it? Zamunda, the king of Zamunda. Hey, President Reagan, Zamunda doesn't exist. Yeah, but I want it to. Zamunda.
Yeah, they have. I heard sometimes they had put up what do we call this other one? Wakanda on their website. There was an agricultural website where they had also, put the name of Wakanda as one of the countries. They put in there less. They make it. They might even say it is Central African Republic. We just named Wakanda. But nonetheless, family, I want to thank everyone for joining us on the broadcast. Orlando Winter, you were saying I beat all these African countries. Samuel, you're saying I could make a joke, but I won't. Go ahead. You can.
Make a soup. Hey, as Joby, as she tried. They gotta have a Kenya Theraflu. So she gotta have a warm something warm. Does she think she's still suffering from the flu or a cold, Spikes?
I'm not sure. Just ask her. I'm not sure.
Ask her real quick. And say, Joby, you think you're suffering from the flu or the cold? There's a difference.
I will ask her, but I'm saying
you feed a cold and you starve the flu. Well, is she right there sitting, or did she didn't make it in the work?
No, she didn't make it. So she
she didn't make it. Okay.
It's a joke about Joby. I don't know what to. Oh, okay, just leave it alone. If it's a joke about Joby, I thought you were making a joke about those African leaders. If it's a joke about Joby, just leave it. I know someone might be cruel and blunt with the call or something. But anyhow, Samuel, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And Big T is saying, I just found that there's our Wakanda, Illinois. Then they will also have it on the website, and also Zamunda in the next map that you will see of Illinois or of Africa. But yes, thank you so much, Big T, and also Orlando Winter and Samuel for joining us on the broadcast. General Mosquito sometimes also gets to join us, but I do not see General Mosquito today. I hope that everyone is well, and also Bombi Damfa, who also gets to frequent and check in on the 54 Correspondence show. And also,
too?
No, I'm saying he frequents, but I do not see him. And also General Mosquito, I do not see them. I was just saying that they also
they drafted him, got him in the Tigray region, Spikes. Your boy Ahmed drafted Mumpy Daffin and told him to get his ass to Tigray. He's up in Tigray with his weapon, Spikes.
That is a problem. He was hoping to get an Ethiopian girl back home, but he might not be doing that if they don't be
he lives in Ethiopia. That's where he lives. He doesn't live in Gambia. He lives in Ethiopia. So.
Yeah, at some point he might be willing to go back and go take along with him.
He ain't going back to no damn Gambia. Ethiopia is more developed than Gambia, Spike. No one's going back to no goddamn Gambia.
he refused. Samuel, I don't know how Samuel is doing. Samuel was also trying to, I think, get in touch with what is this lady's name? That was the lady that was on the show. The lady that was, her name is Tesla Kenya. So I don't know. He was saying Samuel was saying.
That's 2 years ago. We ain't seen that was August of 2019. Tesla Kenya. How's she doing anyway? Anybody seen her ass? She is doing all. That was before Ronald Reagan got to leave her office when we did have a Tesla here. But I'm saying, where's she at? Like, is she like is a
judge? She's a judge of a local TV. What do you call it? A talent show. She's judging a local talent show.
Okay, but good for her. Good for her.
Was the Talent Kenya Talanta Mtaani show. That is why I've seen her the last time.
Okay.
Doing the judging on that particular show. But
what about the Mamumba, the Mamoa, whatever her name was?
Mumbua is also doing her. I think she had a concert recently. They're doing well in terms of music. We'll try her.
Okay, that's good. And what about that little girl? Because we lost the channel. We lost all them great shows. The other one, what's the girl? What was the girl's name? She's what was the song with the girl? But la 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 la. What the hell is that song that little girl was singing?
It was jam. Let me see that.
But the girls in the club say la 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 la. I'm getting it all wrong. I know I'm getting it wrong, Spike. The girls
it's like you go step up to the DJ booth, and when you step up to the DJ booth, you try and tell the DJ, please play me this song that goes la la la, and the DJ will just tell you get away.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that was in Tesla. The other Tesla had the song known as Zuzu.
No, that wasn't Tesla. That was just last year. Tesla was 2 years ago. No, that was I was asking what happened to that lady, that girl. Hopefully she's doing good too.
I hope she is doing well. I do not really remember which one, but you said now someone says I can't help it. Someone you should invite.
You remember that girl? I remember the girl. I forgot her damn name. She said in the party. Damn song. Go try to get the song.
You're talking about what's her name? Her name is
You ain't know her damn name.
Karun. Talking about Karun, Miss Karun. You might be talking about Miss Karun. Yeah, she has a song and Miss Karun.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, she had like she had like auburn hair. Her hair was like auburn or some shit.
So something like that. Miss Karun. If I'm talking about the lady who did make a song that we will jump to right here, which is known as that particular song. Anyhow, family, we
the girls in the club say nah nah nah.
Oh,
the boys in the club say nah nah nah. Some shit.
So her name was the name of the song was what was it? Let me just
oh yeah.
I don't remember the name of our studio. Our studio was known as a Billionaire Records, but I'm trying to remember her name. But I'll remember it.
I can't remember the damn name either.
I remember it.
That's just as bad as me.
I remember her name was Laura K. Her name was Laura.
Yeah, that's her. Laura K. That's her name. That's right.
Yeah,
so, yeah. And what happened to the goofy Negro with the mask on? He
probably still using. He probably still has a mask on for the COVID. He probably still has his mask.
I'm like, Space, get this goofy Negro to take out this damn mask thing he got on, man.
Everyone was watching the show and saying, "What's going on here? I don't understand." I told Juma that's.
I expect you get this guy on national on worldwide TV with this mask on, man. He looks like a terrorist.
That's a KKK. That's a KKK mask with a brother, but
they look more like a terrorist. I don't know about KKK, but okay, come on. Hey, Spike, tell this goofy Negro to take off his mask, man.
So hopefully soon we'll be able to have some more guests. Everyone coming with their goofiness. We'll have some more. We'll have some more.
Maybe had a song on there. I remember it was a song I didn't know. I never heard. But I like this one song he had on there. It was what's that song called? It was a rap song. It came from America, but I never heard it. But it sounded good like that. Never heard that song. What's that song on that thing you playing? It was damn.
I really wouldn't remember.
I know, of course, Mike. That's damn near a year ago. It's a year ago now. How's it go? We almost past the shit go. Where you get out? Let me see. It's on tip my tongue. Let me see where you get out. Let me go tip my tongue. It's go It said we faded and we made it. How's it go? But damn.
That's his rap career. That's how his rap career are drowned. But family, we shall be having a Friday from next month. Family, we shall be having a music mix show on Fridays from our.
Yeah, we got to mix. I gotta get Spikes the money to damn for the speakers. Spikes don't never Spikes don't never answer on the weekends. I don't know what the hell Spikes be doing on the weekends, man. You must be partying or some shit on the weekends, Spike. You ain't never at home.
on the weekends, sometimes I'm just chilling. But I was saying we'll have a mix show very, very soon, and we'll have the guests and also the DJs and the live music very, very soon. So family, check out for that.
Well, we gotta get the damn speakers and the sound card thing.
Yeah, true.
We gotta get that this week. Then we gotta get this weekend, Spikes. They gotta get it this weekend, Spikes. Don't disappear so I can see this money. Don't disappear. We gotta get this weekend. Huh?
It's all good. We shall be setting up at that show so that the family can also request some of these songs and also be able.
Yeah, we gotta find a damn DJ. Do we know a DJ yet? We gotta get a DJ.
We do have a DJ. I have a DJ in contact already. So we.
Okay, cool.
have that set up, so it's no worry about
Oh.
that. So let me just wind up with this particular jam. It's one of the jams that I do love a lot, and I
Go
hope
ahead.
one day I'll be able to have this lady join us in the studio.
All right.
So we can also get to
Is she Kenyan? Is she Kenyan, Spice?
She is. She's her name is Karun.
Oh, Karen. Everybody likes Karen.
Yeah.
I like it, Karen. She got a great voice.
She does.
Have you seen that girl? I've seen that girl before. I can see it in her emotions, yeah, she knows.
This is Blackwood Fan Radio.
Got a mind to get, she can take it slow.
Oh, take it slow.
If you ain't seen me lately, don't you worry.
So everyone that are joining on the show today, I have a wonderful day. Make sure to catch us also on the other shows right here on the Blackwood Fire.
See, I realize the secret to my worth. And whatever happens, I will put me first. Put me first, yeah. I've never seen you glow up like this before.
Glow up like this before, yeah.
You're taking me back. Hold up, let me explore you. Yeah, I've never seen you glow up like this before. Yeah.
Lando Windy says I'll be in the Middle East until Saturday. Stay safe. Stay safe because I understand. Things are different in the Middle East.
Give me back a week, I like to know you.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen you glow up like this before. Yeah. You're taking me back a week, I like to know you. Yeah. I've never seen you glow up like this before. Yeah. You're taking me back, I know you.